Apostrophes are one of those little grammar marks that can make children pause, and quite a few adults quietly panic too. I'm Marie from This Child Can, and in this 3-lesson compilation, I'm going to show you how to explain apostrophes clearly and simply to younger children, starting with missing letters, then possession, and finally, how to tell the difference between the two. Let's learn about apostrophes. They're tiny, easy to miss, and today we're going to look at how they can show missing letters in words. Now, the essence of these type of apostrophes is that we take two words, we squash them together, we take some letters out, and the apostrophe shows where those missing letters were. So let's look at some examples. We'll start with do not. Now, the shortened version of this is don't. But how did we get there? Well, what we did is we took the two small words, we squashed them together, we took out a letter, and in its place, we put the apostrophe. So the apostrophe in don't is just showing that there used to be a letter there, but it's gone now. So the apostrophe is showing that a letter used to be there. It's like a little sign saying, hello, something used to be here. Now let's look at I am. The shortened version of this is I'm. But how did we get there? Well, we took the two small words, we squashed them together, we took out the A, and we put the apostrophe in its place. One more example. She is. The shortened version is she's. And how do we get there? We take the she and the is, we squash them together, we take out the I from is, and we put the apostrophe in its place to show that there was a letter there before. Now, sometimes we take out more than one letter. For example, cannot becomes can't, we will becomes we'll. Doesn't matter, there's still only one apostrophe. The grammar word for this is contraction, which just means to make something smaller. And that's all we're doing here. We're taking two words, we're making them smaller by pushing them together, taking some letters out, and putting an apostrophe in its place. But I wouldn't use that term, contraction, with young children to start with. Start by explaining the meaning behind it. So here are some tips for you. First of all, try working backwards. If you've been given I'm playing, can you work that back to I am playing? And yes, you can, because what you've done here is you've taken out the A of am, pushed the two words together and put an apostrophe in its place. So now you can see that I am becomes I'm, so it works. The second is to know that you can't just push the two short words together and put an apostrophe in the middle where they meet, because the apostrophe is only used to show where the missing letters should go. And finally, beware. There are some other types of apostrophe for contraction that don't follow the regular pattern. But for now, keep it simple for your child, and you can get to the harder stuff later on. Apostrophes therefore can show missing letters. We take two short words, we squash them together, we take some letters out, and we put an apostrophe where those missing letters should be. That's just one use of apostrophes. Another use is for possession, but that's another video. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, please like it and subscribe to This Child Can for more calm, practical ways to help children with their English and maths. And I'd love to know, what grammar term would you like described more simply? Let's learn about apostrophes for possession. Now, these can often confuse children, and if we're honest, quite a lot of adults too. So today we're learning about belonging. Now we're going to start with the meaning, not the apostrophe. Here is a bag. Whose bag is it? It's Sam's bag. The bag belongs to Sam. The apostrophe is showing who the bag belongs to. It is not there because a letter is missing. It's showing that the bag belongs to Sam. And therefore, this apostrophe shows belonging. It's the same punctuation mark, but it's doing a different job. In don't, the apostrophe stands for the missing letter. In Sam's bag, The apostrophe shows that the bag belongs to Sam. So let's build it from the beginning. We start with the owner, Sam. Then we add apostrophe S. Then we add the thing that belongs to Sam, his bag. So we have owner, apostrophe S, and the thing that belongs. Sam's bag. Let's try another one. Here is a cup. Who does the cup belong to? Mum. So we write Mum's cup. The apostrophe goes between Mum and the S because Mum is the owner of the cup. It belongs to Mum. Let's try a sentence now. The dog's tail is wagging. What belongs to someone or something? The tail. What or who does it belong to? The dog. So the apostrophe goes with dog. For children who might need a little bit more support, you can use colour. Use one colour for the owner and another colour for the thing that they own. That way, this keeps the grammar visible. Be careful not to jump into plural possession too quickly. Notice the girl's hat and the girls' hats have a completely different pattern. Just look at the apostrophes and the S's. For now, stick to one owner only. Mum's cup, Sam's bag, the dog's tail. So we've learnt today that possession means belonging. You should start by saying, who does the item belong to? The apostrophe then goes with the owner. And remember, this is very different from apostrophes for missing letters. Thanks for watching. If this video helped, please like it and subscribe to This Child Can for more calm, practical tips to help support children's learning. And do tell me, which apostrophe words do your children find most difficult to write? Welcome back. Apostrophes can be tricky because they can do more than one thing. So today's idea is to ask the following question. Not where does the apostrophe go, but what is it doing? Let's start with these two sentences. Mum's making tea. Mum's mug is white. They look very similar. Both of them have mum apostrophe S. But the apostrophe is doing a different job in each sentence. Let's start with mum's making tea. The first test, can we stretch it out into two words? Mum is making tea. That works. So here, this shows that mums means mum is. If mums means mum is, the apostrophe is showing missing letters. So instead of writing mum is, we've shortened it to mums. And the apostrophe is showing that letters have been taken out. Sometimes apostrophe S is short for has. Mum's made tea, mum has made tea. So the useful question to ask is, can we turn it into is or has? And if we can, that shows the apostrophe is there to show missing letters. Now let's try the same test here. Mum's mug is white. Can we say mum is mug is white? No, it doesn't make sense. Let's try with has. Mum has mug is white. Does that make sense? No. If it doesn't work as is or has, we need to ask a different question. Who does the thing belong to? Here, the thing is the mug. Whose mug is it? Mum's mug. The mug belongs to mum. Therefore, the apostrophe is showing belonging. We can use two simple questions to check. First of all, can it turn into is or has? If yes, the apostrophe is showing letters are missing. If not, you need to ask, does something belong to someone? In which case, yes, then the apostrophe is showing belonging. So the aim is not just for children to be able to spot the apostrophe. It's so that they can explain what the apostrophe is actually doing. You need to ask the question, is it showing missing letters or is it showing that something belongs? And then, very importantly, how do you know? So, to recap, If the apostrophe S can be stretched out into is or has, it's showing missing letters. If it can't, look for something that belongs to someone or something. But beware, very occasionally, apostrophes don't fit either of these patterns, but we're sticking with the basic rules for now. Thanks for watching. If this video helped, please like it and subscribe to This Child Can for more calm, practical ways to support children's learning. And I'd love to know, which parts of working with apostrophes do you think children find most confusing?